You know, it's real funny. I don't feel like I was ever broken until I ran out of excuses to tell myself, lies to tell everybody else, and really I just ran out of ways to escape what I was running from. Hi, I'm Ronny Poag. This is my broken but not dead story. I did go up in East Tennessee and play baseball for Hiwassee College, and that's kind of when my story started to take off. Were the first couple of guys I met, I pulled up on campus and met a guy from Atlanta, Georgia, and one from Miami, Florida. They were going out and hanging out and invited me to go out. So we drank, we got high, we started getting introduced to some amphetamines, and my schoolwork was not going very well. I went in and asked my professor on the final, I said, what do I need to make to pass this final? And he said, well, looks like, Mr. Poe, you need to make about 132. I went back for just a couple of weeks in the fall and just decided that I really just want to go to work. I'm tired of the school life. I'm kind of burnt out. At least that was kind of the excuse I used. And so I came home, and within about a year, I found myself married. And next thing I knew, I had a kid on the way, and my life was aggressively speeding up. And so was the alcohol and the drug use. I was introduced to some other areas where, you know, there was some financial opportunities to start selling some of these drugs. Next thing I knew, it was growing. I had some friends, actually had some other family members that were part of a pretty sophisticated operation. It felt like I was in a small town mafia. I'll never forget one story. We went to Arkansas and we were in a car going out, and then, I don't know, about 50 miles into Arkansas, we pulled over and a tractor-trailer truck pulled up, and we swapped with the vehicles. We got in the tractor-trailer and give another guy the car, and we were bringing back an 18-wheeler full of pot. Evidently, somebody tipped some people off, and we saw a lot of blue lights coming on. You know, I don't know how, but, you know, he geared that thing down, basically shut the key off, and two guys, we jumped out and just took off. And, you know, we got away for some reason. You know, I did have avenues to escape, and that was always maybe the best or maybe the worst part of my story. I always had an out. So, you know, because when you make those escapes, you know, you think, well, you know, I got through it and I'll continue to get through it. And so I think I was 28 years old. My life was really, really nosediving. Personally, I went through a divorce because of a lot of my addictions. I was married, had two kids. You know, I basically at 28 lost everything. Basically drinking from the time I got up, getting high from the time I got up until I would more or less crash or pass out, or, you know, as crazy as it sounds, I met somebody, felt something in my spirit about her, that there was just something really, really different about her, especially with people I had been associated with the last 10, 12 years. So that kind of took off. About a year and a half later, we got married. I was using a lot of cocaine at the time to really just kind of keep going with the lifestyle and with my schedule and what I was doing. And we'd been married, I guess, maybe almost a year, and that's when the company I worked for instituted the mandatory drug test. And, you know, I really didn't have any reservations about taking it. I thought I'd done the proper things to clean up to pass the test. But evidently, according to the medical doctor, I had probably done way too much to pass any of the tests. And so I busted a drug test, and the company basically gave me an ultimatum. You're going to be on a 5-year probation, and if you fail any drug test or we suspect any kind of drug use, you'll be terminated immediately. The funny thing was they made me go to a lot of different meetings, AA, NA, these type of things. And I mean, I was tired of hearing stories about, how drunk you could get or how high you could get. But there was one guy there that I had seen him as an official, as a referee back during some of my playing days. And so we connected. He just took an interest in who I was, and so I allowed him to become my sponsor. And he kept telling me, if you'll just work these steps, you're gonna have a spiritual awakening. And that was really strange talk to me, because I didn't know anything spiritual. I had not been brought up in church very much. I'd gone a little bit. And sure enough, I got through those steps with him, and my wife had not left me. That's a miracle in itself. But she taught me to go into a church, and that was really strange. I've been around a lot of different situations in my time where I saw a lot of stuff in a lot of drug deals, and had lost a lot of friends to tragic car accidents or overdoses, or been in rooms with weapons and guns, and you're not knowing if you're coming out. But I think I was more scared going to church than I was in any of those settings. And sure enough, but I went, and wow, I heard a guy get up and talk about real life, and talk about making decisions, and heaven and hell and all these things. And he preached the paint off the wall, and I thought, man, if I don't make a decision, I don't do something today, I may be in hell tomorrow. It just felt really that urgent. Something was stirring in my heart and in my spirit. And I'll never forget, I was driving home, and I really felt something really different going on inside of me, and I literally had to just pull over on the side of the road. God was dealing with me in a way that I never felt, or something was dealing with me. And so the best I knew how, I just basically asked the Lord to have His way in me. I knew there probably wasn't much left. There wasn't much that wasn't broken. But whatever He could use, I was going to try it His way. I was just going to try it His way. It just felt like a warm kind of oil just come over my head and just came all the way down through my body. And I knew that God had changed me. And in that time, it was such an awakening that He took a lot of the guilt, the shame, and me worrying about what everybody was thinking about my situation, and He just took it away. I'm sure there were so many doubters out there, so many haters out there, but the thing about it was visual. They could really see a change in the way I walked, in the way I talked, in the way I treated people. I would just say a simple prayer, Lord, I promised you, if you open the door, I'll go through it. If you open the door, I'll go through it. And so they did, and that started a brand new adventure. It's been about 30 years now, a little over 30 years, and it took me going through a very broken time and being around some other broken people to figure out that God has the power to put it all back together. Even some of the most ruthless criminals I would learn through Scripture, murderers, slanderers, whatever, God can just pick it up and put it back together and use it in His way.
bed.